The entire town thought Caleb Ruiz was stealing dogs. By the time the fourth missing pet mysteriously appeared on its owner's doorstep, people had already started whispering, and every whisper led back to him. Caleb knew about the rumors. He heard them when customers went silent as he entered the grocery store. He saw them when parents pulled their children a little closer during walks. But he never defended himself. That was the part nobody understood. At 58, Caleb lived alone in a faded blue house near the edge of town. He repaired lawnmowers for a living, spoke little, and avoided community events. Most people only knew one thing about him. 20 years earlier, his wife and young daughter had died in a car accident. After that, he stopped being part of the world. And now, apparently, he was the reason dogs kept disappearing. "Why doesn't he explain himself?" asked Nora, owner of a golden retriever named Sunny. "Because guilty people stay quiet," someone replied. The town agreed. Then Sunny vanished. For 3 days, Nora searched every trail, field, and neighborhood street. Nothing. On the fourth morning, she opened her front door. Sunny was sitting on the porch, clean, fed, healthy. A note hung from his collar. "He missed you." No signature, but everyone knew who they blamed. Caleb. That evening, Nora marched to his house. She found him repairing a mower beneath a flickering garage light. "Was it you?" she demanded. Caleb looked up. His weathered face showed neither anger nor surprise. "Was what me? Taking Sunny?" A long silence followed. Then he simply said, "No." The answer felt too calm, too rehearsed. Nora left even more convinced. Weeks passed, then another dog disappeared, then another. Each returned safely, each with a handwritten note. "Someone was worried about you." She waited by the window every night. Home matters. The messages unsettled people. They felt personal, almost as if whoever wrote them understood loneliness better than anyone else. Then came the storm. A violent autumn storm rolled through town, flooding roads and knocking out power. During the chaos, a 12-year-old border collie named Maggie disappeared. Her owner, 83-year-old Walter Green, was devastated. Maggie wasn't just a pet. She was all he had left. His wife was gone. His sons lived states away. Without Maggie, his house felt unbearably empty. For 5 days, there was no sign of her. Then Walter suffered a mild heart attack. Neighbors found him sitting alone on his porch, staring at the empty driveway where Maggie used to greet him. The entire town suddenly realized something. Losing a dog wasn't always about losing a pet. Sometimes it meant losing your last companion. That same night, a teenager named Liam made a discovery. He had been biking near the old railway tunnels outside town when he heard barking. Lots of barking. He followed the sounds. What he found stopped him cold. Behind an abandoned maintenance building was a hidden shelter. Inside were dozens of lost animals, missing dogs from neighboring townways, abandoned pets, injured strays, and kneeling among them was Caleb. Word spread instantly. By sunrise, half the town stood outside the shelter. Caleb emerged carrying a trembling Maggie in his arms. Walter burst into tears. The old dog nearly knocked him over trying to reach him. People expected outrage, accusations, police. Instead, confusion settled over the crowd, because nothing looked like a thief's operation. The shelter was spotless. Medical supplies lined the walls. Every animal had food, blankets, and records. One woman pointed toward a stack of notebooks. "What are those?" Caleb hesitated, then handed one over. The pages were filled with names, addresses, vet appointments, behavior notes, emergency contacts, years of records, years. Nora flipped through them. "What is this?" Caleb looked away. "The dogs people never came back for." The crowd fell silent. For the first time, his voice cracked. "When my daughter died, we had a dog named Rosie." Nobody moved. "She sat by the front door every day waiting for my little girl to come home." His eyes glistened. "She waited for almost 2 years." The silence became unbearable. Caleb swallowed hard. "One day I realized grief doesn't only belong to people." No one spoke. I started helping strays, then abandoned pets, then lost dogs. He glanced around the shelter. "They understand loneliness better than most humans." Nora looked at the handwritten notes. "Those were from you?" Caleb nodded. "I wasn't writing to the owners." "Then who?" He gently scratched Maggie behind the ears. "The dogs." The words hit the crowd like a wave. Years of suspicion suddenly collapsed. Every note had been written as if spoken by the animal. A reminder. A comfort. A voice for creatures who couldn't explain how deeply they loved. Walter slowly approached him. Tears streamed down his face. Without saying a word, he wrapped Caleb in a hug. For a moment, Caleb stood frozen. Then, after decades of carrying his grief alone, he hugged him back. And many people in the crowd began crying too, because they finally understood something larger than the mystery. Sometimes the quietest people are carrying enough love to fill an entire town.